Climate catastrophe, the Third World War. Climate catastrophists are shouting at us to take action now, before it is too late. Okay, that's fine, but what does all this mean to you and me? And what can we do about it? No matter where you look, the USA, China, India, Australia, Great Britain, and every country in Europe. In fact, why not name every country in the world, including the smallest ones? They, the scientists, are telling us that we are all guilty of doing too little, too late. I say too little, too late, because the climate scientists are not just saying that, they are shouting at us to act now. Otherwise, they say it will be too little, too late. That is why it is a looming catastrophe. It is a catastrophe because we and our governments are not prepared to take the emergency action required to re-engineer our economies, to defeat climate change. Not now, not tomorrow, or next year, but maybe in 30 years' time, when it is too late. They, the scientists, are telling us that even if we don't build another coal-fired power station, the world is still on target to warm by at least 3 degrees C by the end of this century. But the big polluting countries like India, China and the USA are still firing up new fossil-fueled power stations every week. This is terrifying because that means an even higher temperature rise. And even at the 3 degree C level, by the end of the century, or much, much sooner, coastal cities around the world will have to be abandoned to the sea, which in turn means 700 million people will lose their homes. Do we need any more reasons to be terrified about the future of our civilization? Well, I will give you more reasons. What about this? Even at 1.5 degrees C, which is where we are now, we are already seeing that the world, not just Australia, from the Arctic to the tropics, is on fire. Hurricanes and typhoons are breaking records for size and destructive power. Countries like Great Britain are seeing much more intense rainfall and unprecedented, more frequent flooding. But even small countries like Borneo are encouraging the destruction of their primeval forests, together with hundreds of their animal species, and replacing them with sterile palm oil plantations. Not only are the forests being destroyed, but it is scientifically proven that forests generate rainfall, and continuous forests make rivers of rainfall. Destroy the forests, any forests, and you create rainfall deserts. And look at Australia now. Keep destroying the Amazon rainforests, and for sure you are really asking for worldwide trouble. The United Nations warns that far from stopping global temperature rise, the world is currently on track for 3 to 4 degrees rise by the end of this century. So, in the knowledge of this, what do countries like Brazil do? They chop down the Amazon rainforest, the size of Belgium, every year, and these are the lungs and rainmakers of the world. Instead of being custodians of the planet's precious resources, they and the likes of them defiantly take delight in destroying it. And what do Australians, Chinese, Indians, Americans and the rest of the world's governments do? They defiantly insist on their right to dig up and burn ever more coal, oil and gas to fuel their fossil-fueled economies. Every nation insists it has the right to destroy their bit of the planet, and it is nobody else's business. Well, sorry, but it is our business. It is my business. It is your business. And above all, it is your children's and your grandchildren's business. No matter where you are on our small planet, it is your business, because it is our planet that they and we are all destroying. And we can and must do something about it. This is what we can do. We can declare war on the governments of the world. We can declare that this is the Third World War against the destroyers of our planet. And who are the destroyers of our planet? Every government on the planet currently is signed up to destroy it. Every government which pays lip service to taking emergency action in 30 years' time to stop the warming of the planet is guilty of war crimes now. Every politician who lamely claims that it will cost jobs and hurt the economy is guilty of war crimes. Their legacy will be the destruction of our civilization, and surely that is treason. And that is why we declare that we are already in the Third World War, the war against the destruction of our civilization. I will get to the point quickly of what we must do to successfully wage this war against the enemies of the planet. So I ask you, what do governments do when they are under an existential threat of extinction? Think of the Second World War. What did the British government do? Well, they mobilised all of the resources of the country for the war effort. They re-engineered their industries to make them focus on the war. They spent hugely on redirecting the nation's resources to defeating the enemy, and they succeeded. And so shall we. They did not say, leave it to 30 years' time. Why not? Because by then the British way of life would have been long extinguished, just like ours will be, if we don't do it now. They did it in 6 years. The British, with the help of the Allies, destroyed the enemy in 6 years, and using some of the world's huge and wasteful military budget, we can do it again. We can mobilise the nations of the world to win the climate war in 6 years. But to do that, to save our planet, we have to convert our global economy from a fossil fuel economy to an electrical hydrogen economy. And we must do it in 6 years to stop and then to reverse global warming. So now that our civilization is threatened with extinction, what we must do now is to progressively divert our military resources to defeating the climate crisis. If every country in the world now diverts only 10% of military spending equal to $200 billion US, that will be enough to turbocharge the green revolution and to make it happen. That will be enough money to build sufficient wind turbines in 1 year to provide enough electricity to power every household in the USA. So how can we force governments to take this action now? There is only one answer to this, and that is people power. Governments, even dictatorships, can only stay in power so long as the people, you and me, allow them to. We can change their minds by marching on every city and town centre and parliament building, and by filling them with people on the first day of every month until they are defeated. By peaceful protest, if we do it in our millions, around the world, together, on the same day, every month, we shall win the Third World War. Failure is not an option. Failure is the extinction of our civilization. Thank you for watching my video, and if you support this campaign, please spread the word, especially into places like China and other closed societies, so that we can all act together and get the countries of the world also to act together to achieve our victory. please subscribe to me or give me a like.